Okay.
Okay,
So, when you're ready, start.
yeah, I'm ready now.
Very good.
So, good afternoon, Joe. So, the discussion won't be very formal, and I will be speaking mostly in English. Cause can you hear me?
Can you turn down the fan because it's making too much noise? One step more. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Hmm?
So yeah, this seminar it won't be very formal because I want it to be more informal and more interactive and more discussions. So and I will speaking mostly in English because we have some other students who are non-Tibetan. So whenever we have a discussion here, try your best to speak in English, and this seminar is also a chance to speak in English and express your ideas. Okay, so there are so many topics I want to talk to you about these things, but right now at your stage I will focus mostly on UWC and my experience in UWC. So I hope that most of you might have heard about UWC, and I want to ask each of you to tell me what's your perspective about UWC and scholarships to other countries. Not only UWC, but there are other different scholarships like Pestalozzi, and there are so many scholarships for Tibetan students. So I just want to hear some ideas. So is there any volunteer who want to share? Okay, John, what's your perspective? Did you heard about UWC before?
No, I didn't heard. This is my first time hearing it. But I guess it will be some kind of organization who is actually giving our students scholarship and for their I know.
Yeah, it's true that UWC is a very big community, like a Pestalozzi, who give opportunity to young people to educate them, and not just educate, but also to unite them to serve their own community. Is there any others?
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
You know me.
Yeah.
I cannot decide. No. Does anyone of you know an example of a school belonging to UWC?
Yeah.
Could you mention an example?
Example of UWC.
Yes.
Yeah, any school.
Yeah, I guess Norway.
Yeah.
And I know that little bit about the UWC. I heard that there's 13 universities around the world, and the students from in the UWC is from different countries. So the aim is to unite the
Okay. Yeah, sure. Thank you. I think you are taking a bit of the time.
No, it's fine. I just want to.
What I wanted to say is, for example, the Red Cross Nordic UWC flag in Norway, where one of the Pestalozzi students is going next year. And you know the name?
Yeah. Not her name.
You have forgotten?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. And Mahindra is also a UWC, where two girls from your batch are, Bimala and Disha. This is just so that it's not like UWC is hanging there for you. This is something that you have a little bit knowledge of, some TCB students also.
Yeah.
And Atlantic also, for those who know that there's one boy also in Atlantic from TCB. So yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want Lashov to continue, or do you want
He can continue with what he wants to say.
I must say that the aim of the UWC is to unite students from the world, and they feel that they are the one common citizen of the world, and therefore I guess they set up this organization.
So, I hope that all of you know quite a lot about UWC because I know that most of the GC students, they are, I mean, you are aware of all the scholarships up to class 10 and up to class 12. Yeah, so, but now maybe a bit of the language gap, I mean, you don't feel confident to speak English. So I think it's, I will continue with what I want to say. And like, I want to just introduce a bit about UWC, like roughly for 15 minutes. And then we're gonna have a question and answer sessions, and you can ask me any questions, and then I will try my best to answer. And yeah, that's what I plan for today. So UWC, as Hajjok mentioned, is the full form of UWC is called United World College, and in the world there are around 13 UWC schools at the present, and I hope it will like continue to be grow in the future. And UWC, as Hajjok mentioned, the aim of UWC is to unite the people to make a force that can make the world, the better place and peace. And there are so many ideas that UWC promotes to the students who are actually studying UWC. Like UWC wants to provide intercultural and international understanding, and it also wants to provide the responsibility, like self-responsibility, and how to tackle the problem when you face. And it's also try to have a lot of different skills like which you require in life, like problem solving skills, and there are so many skills which are provided by UWC. And I think UWC is a very good model, and it's a very strong force at the present. Like there are so many students who are just graduated from UWC, and there are around 40,000 at the present. And in UWC, it's like there will be a school. It's very similar to Pestalozzi, but it's a bit different because like in UWC school, we have a school at the same time, but we have a house. So right now, like for each students, like even for each UWC student, they have a different perspective about their own school. For example, Nima might have his own perspective about his school, and even though if for example, Hajjok and Nima, they gone to the same school in Selekul, and they might have a different perspective about Selekul. So right now, everything is my perspective. So it could be different to a different people. So the idea of UWC, when I checked, it was around 1950. Like there was a German educationalist. His name is Karl Hans. I cannot pronounce very clearly. Like he's a German guy, but he believes that if young people around the world are gathered together and let them sit and educate, and that can be by doing this, we can solve the problem which are facing in the world, like cultural, it might be a religious misunderstanding. So the idea came first at 1950, and then there were so many people they are trying to build a UWC, and the first UWC was built in 1962. That's the Atlantic United World College, and so that's a bit about UWC. And they are like, as you know, UWC. We have a Nordic, Atlantic. In India we have Mandra. In Hong Kong we have a Hong Kong, like Lebuchun, and they are like almost 13 right now. So now I want to talk about like what it is look like in UWC in terms of academic, in terms of extracurricular, in terms of activities in a school. So how it differs from our normal schools. So you can easily differentiate when I explain you about UWC. So in UWC we follow the IB curriculum. Like you guys follow mostly CPSC and some ICS. Yeah. So UWC follow IB, and IB is like the full form of IB is International Baccalaureate, and it's a diploma course, and it's like a pre-university course. It's very similar to class 11 and 12. And in IB, what is like differ is we have a 6 group. So everyone has to choose one subject from each group. So like there's a group 6, group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6. But in an Indian system, or like for example, my previous school, we have a like you don't have any choice. You have a subject and you have to study it, right? But in IB, you have different groups. So in a group 1 is we call it language A1. So in language A1, you can choose the language which you are strongest. So if you are native speaker of if you are native speaker in Hindi, you can choose Hindi. For myself, I choose Tibetan, and then you can either choose like whatever language you are strongest. And then in a language 2 is a group 2, and you can choose the second language which you are good at. Like I've chosen English. And then group 3 is a maths. So in maths, it's a bit different. Like we have a maths higher, maths standard, and maths studies. So if you are very good at maths, and if you are very interested in maths, we can take a maths higher, and it's quite challenging, and it's very difficult. Like in my school, in Red Cross, there are like in my class there's only 8 students who are taking maths higher, and in maths standard it's a bit and most of the time maths standard there are a lot of students, and then maths studies is like it's quite simple, and if you don't want to study maths, or like you're not very interested, you can take math studies. And then group 4 is a science. So in a science you can choose biology, chemistry, and physics. But between each subject you can choose a level. Like you can choose physics higher, physics standard, chemistry higher, chemistry standard, and so on. So for me, I've chosen physics higher. And then group 5 is kind of environmental, like kind of social studies. We can there are so many options. For example, like economy, environmental system and studies, and development studies. So you can choose whatever you like. And group 5 and group 6 we have theater and visual arts. And in group 6 we have options. If you don't want to take group 6, you can take any of the subject from above upper group. So I'm choosing chemistry. Yeah, these are about academic which we are studying in UWC. And do you have any questions regarding academic?
A bit that don't have commerce option.
Commerce.
Yeah. And do arts.
Because I think there might be options for commerce, but actually IB has so many options, but it's different from each UWC. For example, IB provides IT, like computer science, for the IB course, but in Norway we don't have a computer course because the school cannot provide it, because it's very expensive to pay for the IT teacher, and secondly we don't have enough resources for the IT. So it depends on each school. Yeah. Any questions regarding academic?